Hey everyone, ready to dive into some Bitcoin predictions?
Always.
We've got some analysis pointing towards a potential price drop.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe even down to like $70,000.
wow.
I know, right? After all those highs we saw recently, that number might make some people a little nervous.
Definitely.
But let's break it down. Like why is this prediction even a thing?
So, what's got everyone talking is this thing called an expanding triangle pattern that's forming on the Bitcoin charts.
Okay.
Basically, it's like
Ah.
it's like the signal that there's a big battle going on between the buyers and the sellers.
Oh, I see.
And right now, neither side is really winning,
Okay.
which is why the triangle shape on the chart is getting wider and wider.
Gotcha.
And because of all this uncertainty,
Yeah.
some analysts are saying Bitcoin could keep going up,
Right.
or it could totally reverse and head downwards.
So it's like we're at a crossroads, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
With Bitcoin possibly going one way or the other. But what's making people focus on that $70,000 mark specifically? Like what's in the charts that's making them think about that number?
Well, it all comes down to a key support level that's around $90,000.
Okay.
Remember back in late November when Bitcoin was rallying up towards like $99,000?
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, some analysts think that's when it entered this expanding triangle pattern we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And if the price drops below that $90,000 support level,
Yeah.
it could potentially like fall all the way down to around $76,000.
Whoa. Okay, that's a big drop.
Yeah.
But now before anyone panics,
Right.
I remember reading that this same analysis also mentioned the possibility of Bitcoin actually rallying upwards from that same $90,000 level. So it's not all doom and gloom, is it?
Not at all. There's definitely a flip side to this whole thing.
Okay, good.
You can kind of think of it like a coiled spring, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like it could release downwards.
Yeah.
But that same $90,000 level could also be like a launching pad for a big upward surge.
Interesting. So basically you have two very different scenarios here.
Yeah.
What's the situation right now?
Well,
Is Bitcoin holding steady, or are we like teetering on the edge of that $90,000 support level?
as we're recording this,
Okay.
Bitcoin's hovering around $95,000.
Okay.
It did dip a little recently, down to like $92,200,
Oh,
but it bounced back.
okay.
So for now, at least, it's holding above that crucial support level.
Phew. Okay, good.
Yeah.
This is getting pretty suspenseful.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
what should our listeners be watching for in the next few days to kind of get a sense of where Bitcoin might be headed?
I think the next few days and weeks are going to be super important.
Right.
That $90,000 mark, that's the number to watch.
Got it.
If we see Bitcoin break below that,
Yeah.
it could signal that more declines are coming, maybe even down towards that $76,000 level.
Right.
But
Right.
if it manages to hold strong above that $90,000,
Yeah.
then we might actually see it push upwards instead.
Okay. So real quick, can anyone actually predict what's going to happen with Bitcoin?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It feels like it's a lot of educated guesswork, but is there any real certainty in any of this?
You know,
Yeah.
even with all the charts and analysis in the world,
Yeah.
no one can predict the future of Bitcoin with 100% certainty.
Okay.
There are just too many things that could happen,
Yeah.
Too many variables at play.
I got it.
Yeah.
So while we can't like predict the future exactly,
Right.
I'm guessing seasoned traders, like the one we're talking about today,
Yeah.
must have some ideas about what could influence Bitcoin's price, right?
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just about, lines on a chart.
Yeah.
It's super important to consider the bigger market trends and like the psychology of all the traders.
Yeah. That makes me wonder if sometimes these predictions
Yeah.
can almost become self-fulfilling prophecies.
Interesting.
Like, do traders see a prediction of a potential drop and then start reacting in a way that actually causes that drop to happen?
That's a really good point. It's kind of like a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Traders see a potential downturn.
Yeah.
Some of them get scared and start selling.
Right.
And then all that selling pressure,
Yeah.
it can actually push the price down.
Oh, wow.
It just shows how much like market psychology and sentiment can really affect Bitcoin's price movements.
It's like a big game of chicken almost.
Yeah, kind of.
Everyone's watching to see who's going to flinch first.
Exactly.
Yeah. So are there any specific events or announcements we should be keeping an eye on that could maybe trigger a sell-off?
Regulatory news is always a big one.
Okay.
Like any hints of stricter regulations or crackdowns on crypto,
Right.
that could definitely spook the market and cause a drop.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's all those macroeconomic factors to think about,
Like what?
like interest rate hikes, inflation,
Oh, yeah.
even like geopolitical tensions and stuff.
Right.
All of those things can create a lot of uncertainty and make investors feel more risk averse,
Okay.
which could lead them to pull back from assets like Bitcoin.
So it's not just about what's happening within the crypto world itself.
Yep.
The whole global landscape can come into play.
Exactly. Bitcoin doesn't exist in a vacuum.
I see.
It's part of this larger financial ecosystem,
Yeah.
constantly being influenced by all these external forces.
That makes me think about all those headlines we see about like big institutional investors getting into Bitcoin.
Right.
Does their involvement change things?
Interesting question.
Yeah, in terms of price predictions and how the market moves.
Well, the influx of institutional money has definitely brought more stability to the crypto market,
Okay.
and it's made it seem more legitimate,
Right.
but it's also made it more sensitive to those traditional market trends and economic factors we were talking about.
So it's a bit of a double-edged sword in a way.
Yeah.
You could say that. On one hand, you've got more capital coming in
Yeah.
and maybe less volatility because of that. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
it means Bitcoin is more intertwined with the traditional financial system, which has its own set of risks.
It does.
It's like Bitcoin's growing up and facing all these new challenges.
I like that analogy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But speaking of wider adoption of crypto,
Yeah.
what about those central bank digital currencies?
Oh, yeah.
Those CBDCs that some countries are experimenting with?
Right.
Do you think they pose a threat to Bitcoin?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It really raises an important question about the future of money in general. Some people see CBDCs as a direct competitor to Bitcoin,
Okay.
while others believe that they can both coexist and maybe even complement each other.
Right.
It really comes down to their fundamental differences.
In what way?
Well, Bitcoin is decentralized,
Right.
borderless,
Yeah.
censorship resistant,
Okay.
while CBDCs are centralized
Okay.
and controlled by governments.
Ah, yes.
So they really appeal to different needs and preferences.
So it's not like a winner-take-all situation.
Yeah, not at all.
Okay.
It's like comparing apples and oranges.
Right.
They both have their own place in the world.
Yeah.
And
Right.
ultimately,
Yeah.
it's up to individuals and institutions to decide which form of digital currency works best for them.
It feels like we're witnessing the birth of a whole new financial era
It really does.
with all these different players and ideas all competing for dominance.
It's definitely an exciting time to be watching this all unfold.
Yeah.
And remember, it's not just about those price fluctuations.
Right.
It's about the underlying technology,
Yeah.
the innovation, and the potential to completely reshape the financial system as we know it.
For sure. Yeah, it really is incredible to think about how much has changed in crypto already and how much more could change in the future, too.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not just about Bitcoin either.
Right.
There's this whole other world out there,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
decentralized finance.
DeFi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That door.
Exactly. I hear that term all the time.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm still not 100% sure what it actually is.
Oh, okay.
Could you break it down for us? Like,
Sure, yeah.
what is DeFi really all about?
So DeFi is basically about creating financial applications and services
Okay.
that are open and transparent
Okay.
and accessible to anyone with an internet connection.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's essentially cutting out those traditional middlemen,
Like who?
like the banks and other big financial institutions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So instead of going through a bank to get a loan, for example,
Right.
you could potentially do it directly through a DeFi platform.
Exactly. And it's not just lending.
Yeah.
We're seeing decentralized platforms for borrowing,
Right.
trading,
Yeah.
even insurance.
Wow.
It's really about giving individuals more control over their own finances.
That sounds pretty revolutionary.
It is.
But is it actually realistic? Like, can DeFi really disrupt the traditional financial system in a meaningful way? It definitely has the potential.
Okay.
The innovation happening in DeFi right now is just incredible.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
like with any new technology, there are challenges and risks to consider,
Right.
but the potential for disruption is definitely there.
So it's like we're building a whole new financial system from the ground up,
Yeah,
powered by blockchain technology.
exactly. It's a fascinating experiment that's unfolding right in front of us.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today,
We have.
from Bitcoin price predictions
Right.
to the evolving crypto landscape
Yeah.
and the rise of DeFi.
Mm-hmm.
What's the main takeaway for our listeners?
Hmm.
What should they be thinking about as they try to navigate this world,
Yeah.
this exciting but sometimes confusing world of crypto?
Well, I think the key takeaway is that the world of crypto is constantly evolving.
It is,
It's dynamic, full of
uh,
innovation and transformation.
for sure.
So stay informed, stay
Yeah.
curious,
Great.
and remember, the future of finance is being written right now.
Well said. It's a good reminder that we're not just observers in this whole crypto revolution.
Right.
We're participants,
We are.
and that's pretty amazing.
It is.
As we wrap up today, we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay.
Given everything we've discussed,
Mm-hmm.
what role do you see yourself playing in the future of finance? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And remember,
Yeah.
the journey is just beginning.